Well, thank you for joining me. I know that we are all quarantining ourselves right now, and I'm sure some people are getting a little stir crazy, and we're riding a lot of emotions. It's like a roller coaster. There's been times where I feel completely contented, and there's other time where I start to get a little worrisome. And yesterday and today, I've actually been feeling very heavy laden with stress. Eckhart Tolle says, stress is wanting things to be different than they are. Stress is not allowing acceptance for the way things are right now. So we're probably all stressed out. I thought today I would do chair yoga. I know a lot of you have sticky mats at home. You may have, obviously pillows and blankets and things that you could use as a bolster, like the back cushion of a couch. But I thought today I would do chair yoga. So you don't have to have a yoga chair like this necessarily. You could just use a regular chair, the chairs that we have in our lobby. Some of you have seen me use this before. When we have been full in class and all the metal chairs were handed out, I would have to go grab one from in there. So it can work. You can also use a desk chair, a dining chair, really anything will work. Just get creative. But we're gonna start just kind of thinking about how this week has escalated, where we're at emotionally right now, because the important thing when we come to our practice is to meet and greet ourselves exactly as we are. It's okay if we come in with low vibration. It's okay if we come in with our minds worrisome and stressed out and kind of running like a freight train. It's okay if our emotions are riled up and we're feeling anger or we're feeling grief or sadness. Because the yoga practice helps us to transmute some of these things. It helps us to dispel some of the things that are weighing us down, and we can feel lighter and freer at the end. And that's my intention for this practice. So we're just going to get right into it. When you're sitting in a chair, I'd like you to sit more towards the front side of the seat so that you're not leaning back. And if you look down, try to align your ankles up underneath your knees. Typically when we do chair practice, I usually tell people, that are shorter like me, putting your feet on a bolster, blocks, or a blanket can help so that the chair is not cutting into your flesh. The back of your thighs are cutting off your circulation, but we're gonna be moving and we're not gonna be sitting still too long. I'm not gonna do anything terribly advanced. Just know that chair yoga has been used in this studio with Iyengar Yoga. Half Moon Yoga started as an Iyengar Yoga studio until I took it over in 2009, and at that time there were no Iyengar teachers available. We've had a couple people come in and do that lineage with us, and we still use it in our restorative yoga for stress relief and our gentle flow classes, and occasionally I even break it out into the blissful flow classes just to change things up and to make it fun and interesting. The chair does not necessarily have to be for anyone who struggles getting up and down from the floor. I think that is the biggest misconception when people hear about chair yoga. I used to have people call me when we started the chair yoga class and say, but I'm not in a wheelchair. Or they would get offended when I would suggest the chair class. But the chair class is not just for people who are, for instance, recovering from knee surgery, who may not can handle a lot of flexion with their knees yet. It can be used therapeutically in that way, but chair can also be a way to make poses much more challenging or to make them different and new again in some way. In Iyengar Yoga, they use it a lot for alignment's sake. So anyway, what we're going to be doing today is pretty basic, pretty gentle, and I want us to eventually start from the ground up, so we will be beginning with our feet. Before we do, Any physical postures, I just want us to get centered and grounded first. So if you line up the ankles below the knees, and again, checking in to see whether or not you need anything aligned up underneath the feet, sitting closer to the edge of the chair, you're going to notice your posture. And even now I've got okay posture, but I'm not really elongating my spine, and I'm not really engaging a lot of muscles. So if you start to elongate the shaft of the spine, you'll notice that when you focus on lengthening your back body, you're also lifting your side waist out of the rim of the pelvis. You'll feel a natural engagement through your core as the floating ribs lift a little higher and as the sternum's on the rise. Notice when the sternum's on the rise, the shoulders naturally kind of cast back and down away from the earlobes. Elongate the sides of your neck and slightly drop the chin so it feels like the peak of the crown of the head is rising up a little bit taller, a little bit loftier. And then I'd like us to place our hands in a mudra. So traditionally for this mudra, men place their right hand upon the left, ladies left hand on the right, and then the thumbs come together. This is the mudra for being contemplative and meditating. So once you have set your posture, close your eyes. But turn your drishti in and up towards the third eye, the spiritual eye, that reference point in between and slightly above the center of the eyebrows. As soon as you close your eyes, just feel the surface of the floor beneath your feet. Feel your seat residing on the chair. Your hands resting on your lap. Notice how the clothing feels upon your skin. It may feel warm or snug in places. Depending on what you're wearing, it may be something more breezy and billowy. Start to notice the breath coming in and out through the nose. And once you place your attention to the breath, begin to magnify the breath. Allowing each breath to grow longer and stronger. Feel the expansion of your lungs as you breathe that air down into your lungs. Feel the lungs empty out and your chest and belly deflate. To concentrate on the breath of life and opening up this passageway. Let's take 3 more deep diaphragmatic breaths. Remembering it's not on autopilot. Become the commander of your breath. And slowly and gently begin to open and crack the eyelids. Remember, I said we're going to start at the foundation all the way down at the feet. So looking down at your feet, you can separate your hands now. You're going to heel toe the feet away from one another. and then you'll heel toe back in. You may get a couple snap, crackle pops through the ankles. You may have heard mine pop. It's all good. Most of the time, that's just air being released from the joints. Let's do it one more round. Lifting the heels, lifting the balls of the feet, stepping away, and then heel toeing back into your center. Now that you've brought the feet back to center, you're going to take your hands and hold the edge of the seat of the chair, and you're going to extend your right leg forward. And as you extend the right leg forward, lift up again through the heart center. And as you exhale, gently begin to fold down. As you fold down, just come about a portion of the way, just a fraction of the way, not all the way to your edge. And I want you to point the toes, plantar flexion on the inhale, and then the dorsiflexion on the exhale. You're just going to do that a couple more rounds. Inhale, pointing the toes, maybe even landing to the earth, and then peeling them up and drawing them back towards the knee. After that next round, you're going to keep the toes extending skyward, and you're going to play your edge of flexibility to see where else you can land in this posture. Think of this like a Janu Shirshasana in the chair. Now, if you have more flexibility available and you have a healthy back, feel free to sink the hands to the floor and to bow out over the leg. We're trying to open the hamstrings, the space behind the knee, trying to stretch the calf muscles and the Achilles tendon. On your next inhale, if your hands drop down to the floor, lift your head up, draw the abdomen in, extend the arms forward, and then gently rise. If your hands are still at the edge of the chair, just keep them there, and then gently rise up to the top. Walk that foot back, send the other leg out. Lift up energetically through the shaft of the spine and exhale, hinge forward just a fraction of the way, and then we'll focus on the foot here. And I want you to feel the different engagement of the muscles that you receive with the different action of the foot. So inhale, point the toes, plantar flexion here. Exhale, dorsiflexion, kick out through the heel, spread the toes. Do that a few more rounds. Inhale, pointing. Exhale, flexing. Pointing. And flexing through the ankle. Then if you want to explore your next range of motion here to see where your flexibility lies today, and remember, stress gets stored in the body, and it's going to show up in different ways in different places for all of us. My right leg is a little bit more locked than the other, but you may have a different experience. Honor each one respectively. Maybe emphasize your exhalation since you're in a forward fold, and perhaps even including an affirmation if your mind is rolling. Plant this positive seed of thought, left and right and all around. Life's harmonies are mine. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the vertebrae. Reach the arms out ahead of you, slowly come up to the top, or if your hands are still here at the chair, that's all right. Just slowly back up. Slide that foot back in your direction. Now we're going to move a little bit higher into the hips. And when we start to move up into the hips, we're going to see if it's possible to pick up the right ankle and cross it over the left knee. If that seems challenging for you to do without leaning forward to pick up the foot, if you try leaning back, it makes it a lot easier to cross that ankle over the opposite thigh. And when you flex the foot, notice if it sickles. If you see the sole of the foot, we want to hide it from our view. So you'll press out through the mound of the big toe, the mound of the pinky toe, the inner and the outer heel, so it's facing the side wall. Once you have this anchored here, check in with your knee at any point, whether you're sitting or whether you're folding, because if it needs support, you can place your hand up under it and lift it slightly. Otherwise, we'll inhale, lift up through the crown of the head, and exhale, hinge forward from the hips. So again, any tenderness, any achiness, pain in the knee, try to prop it up. If not, you can back up a little bit. If it feels good to you, again, only if you have a healthy back, you can relax the arms and surrender over the lap. Breathing slowly and deeply. Oftentimes in yoga, we consider the hips being like the junk drawer of the body. Some of you may be using this time of quarantine to clean out your closets and drawers and get reorganized, and really that's a part of 2020 and the numerology code of 4 and the astrology that's happening this year. It's all about reassessing, reanalyzing, reorganizing, and it's also the destruction of things and building things back up from the foundation. So we're seeing that happen around us, aren't we? Let's take the hands back to the edge of the chair, slowly rise up to the top, and you can also stay upright, or you can lean back to make it easier to plop the foot down. We'll cross the left ankle over the right knee. We'll move right into the other side. The standing leg, again, line up the joints where the knee stacked over the ankle. Notice that foot that's on top. Create the flexion where you cannot see the sole of your foot from your vision. Lift up through the vertebrae and exhale, hinge forward from the hips. Check in with this particular knee. If you need to support it, lift it up. Otherwise, continue on your merry way. And if you can fold over, surrendering, move into that allotted space. Every time you breathe in, thinking about breathing in new energy, new information. Every time you exhale, release anything stale or stagnant. And then go ahead and place your hands back to the seat of the chair, lengthen out through the crown of the head, and gently start to rise all the way up. Once you rise all the way up, we're going to stack both feet hip distance apart, side by side. And we're going to do a cat-cow. So there's a couple different ways to do this. You can take your hands to just rest on your thighs, draw the heart forward and the shoulders back, chin up for the cow tilt. And then exhale, squeeze in through the abdomen, slide your hands towards the knees, bow the head in towards the chest, a cat stretch. Your other option would be to grab the back of the chair. Of course, it depends on what kind of chair you have available. But again, the shoulders roll back, the chin and the eyes look up. And then on the exhale, the hands will come back around in front, piercing the navel in and rounding through the vertebrae. Inhaling, you can do either or. I'll give you a combination of both to observe. So we're moving all this energy up through the body. If you ever study energetic anatomy, specifically the chakras, you'll start to discover that each of the chakras, each of those energy centers, have something physically that they govern, spiritual lessons involved, psychological components, even addictions that can show up depending on where the imbalances are. The first three are more physically based. You move into the heart, which is the fourth, which is the place of harmony, balance, and integration. And then moving upward into those centers, it's more for spiritual enlightenment, spiritual transformation. So energy moving up, which is what we're trying to do in yoga, is for that spiritual enlightenment. Energy moving down is for physical manifestation, Both are important as we exist on this human plane. We're going to heel-toe the feet apart like we did earlier. We're going to take a squat. We're going to start to lean forward. We're going to prop the right arm down onto that thigh, and we're going to inhale, sweep the left arm skyward. We're going to pause here in that twist, check in, and you might be able to sink the fingertips or the palm gently down to the ground. Check in to see what feels best and where your breath is more wide open and clear. For me, it's on the fingertips. And then feel free to add in the affirmation. This affirmation I usually include with our supine twist. Energy and new life is flooding through me. New life and new energy is flooding through me. Exhale, slowly bring that arm down, come back up to the top, and then go ahead and slide your left arm to rest on your left thigh. On your next in-breath, sweep the right arm out and up. You're going to continue to hold and breathe. Flare those fingers up in the air and see if you can open up that left shoulder and that side of your chest. If you want to sink the fingertips to the floor, the palm to the floor, test the water, see if it's appropriate for you, and see if your breath is enough. Affirming, I am opening myself up to a new flow of life and energy within. Exhale, release that top arm, and inhale, you can slowly rise up to the top. Let's go ahead and slide the feet back together. Bring your hands to Anjali Mudra, prayer position at your heart. As you inhale, sweep the arms to the sides and up overhead. Open your throat center, gaze up towards the wrist, and then exhale, slide it down to the heart. Inhale, expand open through the upper body. Gazing up like we would in upward worship. And then exhale, recenter, hands to the heart as the head humbly bows. One more, inhale. And exhale, bring it home to the heart. On your next inhale, extend your arms out to the sides, flex through the wrist, push out through the heel of the hands. Keep flexing the wrist, keep breathing. And now we're gonna hook the left arm underneath the right. Hook the elbows together if you can. Start to wind the arms around towards each other. It's okay if the hands don't quite meet, but if you have the additional flexibility available, wrap that hand inside the other. Keep the upper arms parallel to the floor. Zip up through your midriff. Gaze straight ahead, practicing your Gavradasana arms, your eagle arms. Feel the structure through the upper back, the muscles that attach to the shoulder blades. Feel how it even affects your neck. Mold those arms together. Keep breathing. And if you want to add in the legs, hook your left leg over the right. Squeeze those inner thighs together, and you can even tuck the toes behind that lower calf. Affirming as you hold. At the center of life's storms, I choose to be serene. Let's release the arms and release the legs. Bring your hands to Anjali Mudra. Inhale, extend the arms to the sides. Flexing out through the wrist, pushing through the heel of the hands. And then as you exhale, you're gonna hook the right arm under the left. Again, it may appear like this, but you are attempting to draw them together, intertwining them together as if they were one. Upper arms parallel to the floor, chin slightly drawing in. As you hold eagle arms, you can also cross the legs right over the left, or tucking the toes behind the calf. Eyes can be open or closed, but if they're open, set your drishti at one point. There's no need to watch the video unless you're confused. Just listen to my voice, listen to my guidance, and follow the cues. Affirming as you hold at the center of life's storms, I choose to remain serene. As you exhale, unwind the arms and unwrap the legs. And once you unwrap the legs, I want you to bring your hands to be palms open on your lap and just take a quick moment to close the eyes. So often in our yoga practices, we're just flowing through sequencing, through various postures without taking the moment to pause, to feel the effect. And so I encourage you to put these little still points in your practice, especially doing a home practice. Notice the heaviness of the arms, maybe noticing the warmth of the blood flow, or some tingling occurrences from the energy that is now being generated and is percolating or dispersing and flowing elsewhere. Now keep your hands resting palms up on your lap. Reopen the eyes, draw the chin slightly in towards the throat. And then as you exhale, turn the head over to the right shoulder. Inhale to center, exhale to the left. Continue. Look sharply through the corner of the eyes. It's called Parshva Drishti. On this last round, you turn to the right, look sharply through the right corner of the eyes. Inhale to center, exhale to the left, look sharply through the left corner of the eyes. And then inhale back to center. Once you come back to center, we're going to stand up now. When you come to stand up, we're going to do a little bit of a flow practice with the chair. So at this point, you're going to turn the seat of the chair your direction. So we're going to stand about a ruler's distance in front of the chair, root and ground the feet, open up through the front side of the body. As you're standing nice, tall, and attentive, look straight ahead, chin parallel to the earth, in Tadasana. Bring your hands back to prayer position at your heart, and on your in-breath, sweep the arms to your sides and up to Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, begin to fold down like you're coming into Uttanasana, except step your hands right on the seat of the chair. Roll your thigh bones in and power back through the legs. And then as you exhale, continue to explore the possibility of sinking a little lower. You might even be able to rest the third eye to the chair. Now, we're not going to stay here long. If your head doesn't come to the chair, you can always be on your forearms. And you can always cross your arms or stack fists to place the head. On the next inhale, lift up halfway, look out with your eyes, and stack the hands back to the blocks. On your next inhalation, step back to your plank position, push back through your heels, lift up and out through the heart. As you exhale, press back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, a variation of downward facing dog. Let the traction come into your arms and back. Let your ears dip in between the upper arm bones. Gaze down and back towards the feet or the space in between, Padyorgram Drishti. And then we're going to flow back and forth between plank and down dog. So as you inhale, peel up your heels. Restack the shoulders over the hands. And then exhale, to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale again, rolling forward to plank, streamline the body, and exhaling back. Do that one more round, inhaling forward, and exhaling back. On the next inhale, I want you to step your left foot through, bury down with your right heel, and slowly lift your arms up to Virabhadrasana 1. Let your arms track alongside your ears. Let your back thigh roll towards the front as you continue to push heavy through your right ankle and heel. Keep lunging into the left knee, but roll open through that front thigh. Draw up through the abdomen. When you draw up through the abdomen, you'll feel your tailbone slightly point down. As you exhale, bring the hands to the floor. Spin away from the back heel. Come to the ball of the foot. Place your hands to your hips and slowly rise up energetically. Feel that opening now in the iliopsoas muscle, the front side of the hip. See if you can float the arms up overhead, and you might even enjoy taking more of a back bend. Exhale, take the hands down to the seat of the chair. Step into your plank position. Dip the hips this time. Expand open through your chest and throat like an up dog. And then exhale, roll it all the way back to down dog. We're going to do that twice more. Inhale, coming forward. And exhale, rolling back. Last one. Inhale, rolling forward. And exhaling back. Pause here. Deep breaths in and out through the nose. And on your next inhale, let's step the right foot through. Lower down to your back heel. Rising up, warrior one. Back heel anchored. Left thigh rolling to the front. Right thigh externally rotating. Pushing down through the ball of the front foot. Lengthening up through the spine, through the fingertips. Drawing up through the navel. Activating the bandhas. Exhale, lower the hands to the chair. Turn away from your back heel. Slither the toes back just a bit. And bring it into crescents. You're always welcome to have the hands on the hips first. We did that to the first side. Because you'll notice a difference in how it affects the iliopsoas. Right? It's one of those muscles that help to attach the lower and the upper body together. One more deep breath. Maybe exploring a back bend. Maintaining your balance and stability with ease. Bring the hands down. Step into plank this time. From plank pose, press back. Downward facing dog. Do that a couple more rounds. Inhale, plank. Exhale, down dog. One more, inhale, plank. There's not as much weight bearing in the wrist here, so it is helpful for those of you that have tender wrists. Inhale, come forward, up dog. And exhale, down dog. Let's get a couple more of those back bends in. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, roll it back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. Now from here, go ahead and bring the hands down, releasing into a deeper aspect of Uttanasana. You're standing forward fold.
Affirming here, nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back. Now notice, if you rest on your hands, you're more likely to lock the arms, but then you don't receive as much. Same thing with fingertips. So if you flip your hands upside down, notice the difference. And it's okay if you're more like this. The goal of yoga is not to touch the toes. The goal of yoga is just liberation, creating a sense of inner freedom. On your next inhale, go ahead and slowly walk the hands forward, come down to the knees. When you come to the knees, untuck the toes, and we're going to bring the elbows to rest on the seat of the chair. Now, usually we have a block, but we don't have to have a block. Let's just bring the palms together, and we're going to bow the head. Now, notice if you're dipping in your belly. You actually want to create like a tabletop type position. So press through the shins and feet and draw up through your core. This is a tremendous stretch for the shoulders. Take one more deep breath. Slowly bring the hands back down. Step one foot forward, and it's a little easier to come up with the assistance of the chair. We're not going to turn the chair, but you don't necessarily have to turn the chair, but I need to turn it so that you can see. I'm going to be standing to one side of it, and I'm going to lift a foot up and turn it out 90 degrees. And the leg that you're standing on, notice if you have a tendency to sink into it. We actually want to put a landing line down from the outer hip through the outer ankle and down from the inner thigh, inner knee to the inside of the ankle. The foot that's resting on the chair, we want to keep this hip turned open. Take your hands to the hips, lift up high with your heart, and maybe even elevate your arms. So this could potentially be a variation of Tree Vrikshasana or Padangusthasana A. Take one more deep breath. And then bring your hands to Jnana Mudra, representing wisdom. Lower one arm down to the thigh and take the top arm across over the ear. So we're adding in a side bend, a side stretch. Next in breath, gently come up. Now, you can do this one of two ways. You can hold the back of the chair and just heel toe that standing foot to the side. That may not work out for your balance. If the chair's unsteady and you don't feel safe, just bring both feet down, turn to face the seat of the chair, hop the foot up, lift up through the standing leg, lift up through your trunk, lift both arms up overhead. And then as we exhale, we're going to press back into the hips. Press back through the thigh bone. Extend out through the arms. And then eventually lower the hands to the edge of the chair. Now you're welcome to stay right here. If you have additional flexibility available and you want to move into another edge, feel free to walk the hands beyond the seat, maybe even down one leg of the chair, and the head can bow. And move right back into your breath. Back to the chair, lengthen out to the sides of the neck, lengthen the arms out before you, slowly rise up to the top, pressing through the soles of the feet, and then relax the arms down, and then step down. We'll take this to the other side. At first, we're just standing beside it, picking up the other foot, turning it out 90 degrees. Again, noticing how you're standing. We're trying to lift up and out of the standing leg. We're trying to open this hip where the foot's propped up. Look straight ahead. Elevate your arms. And refine your breath. Jnana Mudra. And then moving into this hybrid pose. Maybe even turning the gaze up underneath the arm. Perhaps even including an affirmation. I am calm, I am poised. I am calm and poised. Inhale, we'll bring it back up to the top. And again, you can hold the back of the chair or you can step down like I showed you before, or you can just hop it on over. Lift up the arms. Exhale, hinge through. Now when you hinge through, you're coming to the inside of this leg that's propped up on the chair. The hands can rest here at the seat, and this may be plenty. I say in class all the time, just because you can doesn't necessarily mean that you should. So check in with your body. Even though we can sometimes go deeper, we need to make sure that we're not becoming hypermobile. Well, I'm not hypermobile. And I know I want a little bit more. So I'm going to take the hands down through the leg to bow the head. You can join me if you'd like. Inhale, stack back to the chair. Reach the arms out ahead of you. Draw that belly in. Slowly rise up to the top. Exhale, release the arms. And you can release the foot. If you want to use the chair to help you with balance, that's fine. We're going to move into Vrikshasana. So your standing leg will be closer to the chair. Once you lift one foot up, you're welcome to have it resting at the calf, and you can keep actually the foot to the floor too. If you need to bring it higher up to the thigh, you may need to catch it with your hand, but you're plugging the two together. You don't want to push the foot into the thigh only, and then that is going to push into the chair. You want them to press equally into each other. And again, you can just hold the chair for balance, and you can bring one hand to half namaste at the heart. Use that same affirmative statement. A lot of these affirmations stem from Ananda Yoga. I am calm and I am poised. I am calm and poised. I've been calm and poised this entire week until yesterday. Yesterday, all the stress hit me and I had my breakdown. This would have been a good affirmation to use. Release the hands and release the foot. Come back to this side. And you come back to this side. Check in. Spin open. Or you can lift the knee like I did on the other side and then spin open. You just don't want to put the foot to have any pressure on the knee. So above or below. Vrikshasana tree. Your hand can come back to half namaste. If you don't want to use the chair, feel free to lift both arms up as branches. We are lucky that we can still get outside, and even though it's kind of rainy today, it's been beautiful. It's been nice weather. Get out and see the trees budding, the flowers blooming, grass is turning green. Even being in nature, you can get calm and poised. And let's release. Let's see, I'm gonna do a twist with you. I'm trying to figure out what would be better.
give you the visual, I think I'm gonna turn the chair back this direction. That's what I'll do. I'll show you my back first. I'll try to give you two viewpoints. So again, when you sit at the chair, you're kind of falling off the edge, and that's all right, but your ankles are lined up underneath your knees. Lift up to extend your vertebrae and create good posture, and your first twist, you're gonna take the hands to the back of the chair as if you were driving in your car, hands at round about 10 and 2. Feel the twist that you're already getting through your back and belly, but then inhale, lift up again. Put a little bit more oomph into it by pushing with your right hand and pulling with your left hand. We're twisting to the right first. Sorry if I'm not mirroring you anymore. These videos are new for me. You can also continue to turn your head, but please don't feel like you have to crank the neck. Make sure you still have an open channel of breath. And then unwind from the twist and take time to pause, palms flipped open. Maybe even coming back to the mudra, Dhyana mudra for concentration and meditation. You're probably sensing how you need that twist to the other side. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna spin the body. And now I'm gonna be twisting to the left. Again, sorry if I'm not mirroring you anymore. But sit towards the edge of the chair. You may be falling off a little bit, that's okay. Lift up, create that nice extension, and then exhale, twist to your left. Hands round about at 10 and 2. Lift up through the crown of the head. Pause here just to check in because this could potentially be enough. Otherwise, push with your left hand, pull slightly with your right hand, not aggressively, just gentle encouragement. And then maybe turning from the neck, staying cautious with your neck. Affirming here, I radiate my love, my goodwill, my compassion to soul friends everywhere. As you exhale, unwind from the twist. Excuse me. So I've been seeing a chiropractor about my neck. I think it's my C2. And I saw on their chart that C2, where there's misalignments, it can have a big effect on allergies. So if you notice, I just sneezed. I've been noticing that with my neck. Certain movements I do with my neck either will make me sneeze or it'll make my sinuses open up or run. So just take a moment to pause, flip your hands open. Just feel the effects of that. Now I want you to take your thumbs and slide them all the way up to that hip crease. Shoulders back, feet hip distance apart, aligned underneath your knees. And you're gonna roll down. When you lay the belly out over your thighs, your hands can be sent down to the floor. Your head can comfortably bow if that's okay for your neck. It's like the child's pose version in a chair. This will be our counter after the twist. So you can come up with a flat back, a straight back, or you can take your hands to the knees, scoop the belly in, and then you can roll it up one vertebra at a time. So I'm going to turn my chair to face you again, because we're going to complete, I know it's a short practice, but hopefully you'll feel better in the end. come back to that hand mudra. Sit up nice and tall and straight and be attentive to what is happening around you and within you. As you shield the eyes with the lids, maybe just noticing the sounds. Maybe noticing how you feel. Perhaps noticing if there's any distractions coming in through your ears or coming into your mind. And then recommit to the practice. We're going to do a pranayama meditation that I learned from Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. And it's called the horseshoe breath. There's a lot of different types of symbology of the horseshoe, but what we're going to focus on today is luck. I want you to consider the fact that the heart is the highest electromagnetic field in the body. Thousands times stronger than the field that emanates from the brain. They say that our aura, our energy field, shows up all around the circumference of the body. And the heart has this emittance radiating out from it. It's how our inner light can shine. So with that in mind, I want you to begin taking a deep breath in, and I want you to think about drawing in the air that is surrounding you. That's about 12 inches in front of your face, and draw that air in through the tip of the nose, through the bridge of the nose, and then follow the breath from the bridge of the nose to the tip of the nose, out and beyond. Stay with this idea for a couple more rounds of breath, breathing in from the space before you, feeling the air current come through the nostrils, up to the bridge of the nose, and then follow it on its exhale, back from the bridge, through the nostrils, and out again. Continue this visual as you breathe in and out through your nose. And now we'll breathe from that space in front of us, through the tip of the nose, to the bridge of the nose, to the root of the nose. And then as we exhale, we'll travel that attention down from the root of the nose to the bridge, to the tip, and beyond. Take it that extra step, the next couple rounds of breath. Deeper. Take the air current in from beyond the nose to the tip, through the bridge to the root, and horseshoe down into your throat. And then feeling that breath come through the throat, from the root to the bridge, to the tip, out through the nostrils and beyond. Stay with this for couple more rounds of breath. On your next breath in, breathe in from before you, through the tip of the nose, to the bridge, to the root. Let it horseshoe around, down into the throat, into the sacs of the lungs. And then as you exhale, feel it escape the lungs, travel up through the throat, to the root of the nose, to the bridge, to the tip, out and beyond. Stick with that imagery of drawing the air in from outside of the nose, through the nose, horseshoeing down and around through the throat into the lungs. And from the lungs back up through the throat, through the roots and down through the nose. To take this into a complete horseshoe, breathe in from the space before you, through the tip, to the bridge, to the root, down through the throat, into the lungs, into the heart space, and imagine it radiating outward from the chest, about 12 inches ahead of you. And then as you exhale, breathe it back from the heart into the lungs, up through the throat, and down through the nose, out and beyond. Stay with this guided imagery for a couple more rounds of breath, breathing in from before you, through the tip of the nose, to the bridge, to the root, horseshoeing down through the throat, to the lungs, to the heart space, and beyond. From the beyond, back into the heart space, into the lungs, up through the throat, into the nose, back down, out, and beyond. As you're continuing the horseshoe breath, think about how lucky you are to be alive. How lucky we are to be alive in this time of great change and transformation, how uncomfortable it may even seem to be. Change is inevitable, change is constant, and with all change, there's growing pains. Believe and trust in the greater good. How lucky we are to be alive right now during this time. How lucky we are to have received all the blessings we have thus far in life. And think about how lucky we're going to be when we come out on the other side. Stick with the horseshoe breath, 3 more rounds. Let the visual fade away. Just breathe. Please feel free to pause this video if you want to meditate longer. You need to end now. Join me. Bring in your hands to prayer position at your heart, bowing your head humbly. The light in me honors and bows to the beautiful and radiant light within you all. Namaste. Stay well, and see you again at the studio when we reopen.